Point A is given as 7, 2 and point B given as negative 5, 8. Now they are saying AB is on one side of the parallelogram, ABCD. So let's try to draw this first. A is 7, 2. So see, this is your B, negative 5, 8. And your A is 7, 2. Okay, just a rough sketch. And where will you place your C? It's very important. You have to go in a clockwise position. Do not put your C over here. So you started with A, then you're going to B. This is going to be a C and then D. Okay, now let's look at the question. They are saying that the vector BC, it's given as negative A, negative B. What is the meaning of this? You are starting at B and then you are ending at C. So B to C, negative A, negative B. Or you can even say this as translation, where both A and B are greater than 0. The gradient of BC is given as 1. So that shows my sketching is wrong. My gradient looks flat, but the gradient in the question is 1. And the distance from B to C is given as 8. Now, how do you connect vector and the magnitude? If you know the path of the x and y, then you can just simply square it. Okay, now let's focus on this one over here. It simply means you are traveling on the x-axis and this one is how much you have traveled on the y-axis. So I know the worth of my x changes and the worth of my y changes. So we can immediately do negative a squared plus negative b squared square root equal to 8. When you expand and simplify, you will get this. Okay. Now, let's analyze the gradient. They are saying the gradient of BC is 1. What is the meaning of gradient? Rise over run. And a lot of you will remember it as y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. What is y2 minus y1? The change in the y, and the other one is in change in the x. Where did we spot the change in the x and y? They already gave us in the vector BC. So this is the change in the x and change in the y. So you take that and you plug it in here. Negative b over negative a equals to 1. That will give you b being same as the a. You take this and you substitute here. So a squared plus a squared equals to 8. 2a squared equal to 8. A squared equals to 4. A is plus minus 2. But we are very sure that the value of the a is greater than 0. Therefore, a is 2. The moment you get that, you know the value of your b. So what can I do with this a value and b value? What is the need of the question? Question is asking me to find the coordinate of D. Where is D? D is somewhere here. So now, because it is a parallelogram, you know from B to C, this part, it's definitely going to be parallel to the AD. And I know that I can just use back this vector negative A, negative B. It's just indicating the change. So what you do, you have gotten the A and B as negative 2 and negative 2. This is the change in the x, this is the change in the y, or simply how much you moved on the x and how much you have moved on the y. So what I can do, in order to get the D, I'll take the 7 and I will minus the 2. What am I doing here? This is the x part and this is the x part. In order to get the y, you take the y part and you solve for the other y part. Which gives us coordinate D as 5,